guys, and welcome back to Isekai. And today we are going to be talking about a battle between two special grade sorcerers that I don't think I really discussed before on this channel. One of them is the mommy mass murderer herself, Yuki Tsukumo, versus Yuta Okkotsu, the child genius and, second only to Dojo character of the series. Now, now this is why I'm bringing up the situation, right? It's like, I understand, like, we all love Yuta, right? I don't really like Yuta. I think Yuta is like grade 5. But outside of that, right? If you look at this from like an objective perspective, this fight should be a slam for Yuki. LOL. Not just look. I think Yuki is stronger than Yuta. Or at least, it's made clear that they're equals in terms of power and everything. But the thing is, I don't see how Yuta is gonna survive Yuki, right? Like, yeah, Yuki may not have the durability that's equal to her max, right? She has the same durability no matter what. But the problem is, you're talking about a special grade sorcerer with a domain expansion, simple domain, and the ability to literally make mass so large that she could create a black hole. Like, she can make a black hole by herself. She is that powerful, overpowered to fuck. And yeah, you could say she doesn't even need to get to the black hole level yet. Like, she can easily, doesn't even need to get to the black hole. Now, I'm going to, look at both scenarios because both characters actually have a chance of winning, right? It's not like it's a one and done thing where Yuki's gonna slam. No, it's gonna be, I would say it's like a 50-50. But let's see how Yuki's gonna win versus how Yuta's gonna win. Now, let's compare and contrast, right? We know Yuki has Garuda, and we know she has a curse technique, which is mass. We know she has a domain expansion. We know she has a simple domain. And I think that's about it for her. I mean, we also know she does have some understanding of the soul, but I don't think that really needs to come into play in this battle. Unless she can somehow damage the soul, which I doubt she could. But she also has RCT as well, so she's got those 5 different things with her to use in this battle. Yuta has multiple curse techniques. She has Rika. He has Rika, right? He has RCT as well. He also has a domain expansion. No domain expansion, just like Yuki. And he also has weapons, cursed weapons that he can pick up out of the out of like Rika, right? So he's got a lot of options. The only reason I say Yuta loses, like one of the main reasons I think Yuta loses in this fight, right, is mainly due to the fact that he only can last for 5 minutes. 5 minutes and it's done. I don't know how the timer works after the 5 minutes are up. I know he can pick when in the day he can use those 5 minutes, but we don't know the cooldown for those 5 minutes. We don't know if it's a 5 minute cooldown after the 5 minute cooldown, after the 5 minutes are up. Like, we don't know if it's 5 minutes and then another 5 minutes, or if he needs to replenish his curse technique, like if he was using a domain expansion, then use 5 minutes. We don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it functions. I don't know if it's a day. I would assume maybe today. I would assume that's how it works, but it most likely isn't, or it is. It's possible it is, and it also might not be. I don't know how it works. But for the most part, those 5 minutes are when he's at his strongest, because before the 5 minute timer, it's a 2v1. Like Yuki and Garuda facing off against Yuta. Yuki is able to fight someone like Kinjaku. Like, she's able to throw hands with Kinjaku, right? Even punch him because of how deadly her mass curse technique Bombaye is, right? So at the end of the day, what Yuki could do is, right, her and Yuta start off, right? Yuki always has her cursed object with her being Garuda, right? She can use Garuda as a blade, and Yuta's gonna be dodging, of course. And I would say that Yuki definitely, I think at least in terms of hand to hand, definitely is probably better. I would say it's definitely better than Yuta. Like, No offense to Yuta, but the dude has not done anything in the hand-to-hand department that gives me hope that he's that good. Every single fight he's been in, it seems like, except for maybe you could argue the Yuji fight, every other fight he's been in, it seems like he's getting packed up by people who are more experienced than him in hand-to-hand. So unless he's holding like a special blade that can cut through anything that touches, I don't see how Yuta's going to win the hand-to-hand department. Especially since that's how Yuki mainly fights. So if Yuki decides to come up close and personal, Yuta's going to be healing multiple times in that fight. Multiple times, multiple different ways, front, center, everywhere. That's how it's going to go, right? And after he's healing and wastes all that, basically all his crystal energy for as long as crystal energy can last, right? He's going to bring out Rika. And now this is where things get interesting. I think this is where he will have I would say the slight advantage, because Rika on her own is like a special grade sorcerer. Like, she's like at least on the level. I wouldn't say she's stronger than, but I think she's it's implied, like, at least in terms of durability and maybe say speed, she's definitely on the level of Ryu, right? Ishigori. So if she's around that kind of level, I can see I can see that when Yuta pulls Rika out, right, and Rika goes to fight, right, she could take on Garuda, maybe not even take Garuda on, just throw Garuda to somewhere else, and then start trying to throw him at Yuki. But the only problem again is that mask, because for all we know, that mask can be on her 247. It's like Gojo's Infinity. She could easily maintain it for as long as she wants. Like, it doesn't seem like there's any, unless she gets hurt very bad, right? It doesn't seem like there's any limit to how much, to how long, she can keep it up. And that's the problem, because if she gets one punch, or decides to just use Garuda and just fling her like a rope on Rika, she could most likely damage Rika, maybe even kill Rika. But I would say damage, because I don't want to say that she killed Rika. I don't think Rika's gonna die. But then, if it's damage, because we know for a fact, I'm very sure it's gonna be damage, Rika's gonna be out for a bit. Yuta then now probably has to use Curse Speech, because I don't know. Should we use the Yuta? I don't know what Yuta. I'll use the Yuta that we can see right now currently in the manga. So this Yuta basically has all the curse techniques of all the other users. Thin Icebreaker, Drew Shikigami technique, Curse Speech, right? So those three. And the thing about the three that we've seen so far is I'm not sure how, I can see him using all those things combined to beat her, right? All those three things combined will work in his favor. I can see that being the case. My problem is the fact that it might not work the exact way you think it would. Like, I can see Yuki, again, this is why I said this is where Yuta has, the advantage. But it's not a clear advantage. It's not like an obvious advantage. Because again, Yuki's curse technique, if she punches through Yuta once, he's gonna have to RCT. And if he keeps trying to, because again, Yuki will keep fighting back, right? Yuki's gonna be moving, reacting, dodging. She's gonna be throwing hands with Yuta. Yuta's gonna be getting boxed, because again, in terms of hand-to-hand combat, of all the special grades we've seen, he's not the best at boxing. He's not the best, except if you maybe count Suguru Geto. Like, outside of Geto, he is like the next worst person when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. What makes him strong isn't necessarily his overwhelming, cursed energy. It's his overwhelming cursed energy, but not his hand-to-hand combat. His hand-to-hand combat is like the least notable thing about him. Like, every time he's fought hand-to-hand, he's never really completely fought hand-to-hand. When he fought Kurushi, he didn't even use hands. Every time he fought Kurushi, it was a problem, so he just used RCT to kill it. And then when it came to Ryu and, Uro, when he fought those two people hand-to-hand, he was getting boxed. It wasn't even close. So, again, when you look at it from that angle, it's like, he's not the best with hand-to-hand combat, something that is the complete opposite for Yuki. She is extraordinarily good at using her hands, her feet, every single part of her body to win a fight. Like, she can box very, very easily. And, another problem I see is the fact that, people say, oh, what about domain expansion? How would Yuki compare against the domain expansion? She's got her own domain expansion, and at the very least, I will tell you this, at the very least, her domain expansion is equal to Yuta's.
Enemy spotted. Fatality.
If not better.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Right? Because even Kenjaku was like, if you had used your domain expansion, this would have been a more interesting fight. Meaning that at the very least, if she used the domain expansion, she would have, or at least been like, or at least a little bit. I don't know how long she would have been, but at least for a little bit, she would have been equal to Kenjaku, who has an open domain. And of course, open domains don't necessarily mean that you're stronger, but it's like a certain distance advantage kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about. So, anyways, Yuta, right? If he throws in his own domain and she throws in hers, it's going to be like a Gojo versus Sukuna situation. Except both are going to, like, it's going to be like a three-way deadlock, but this time just with two. So basically, it's going to lock up. They're going to keep on this level, and they're going to keep fighting until someone decides to fall, right? Within the domain, until someone gets hurt or something. And honestly, Yuta's probably going to get packed first, unless Rika is also there with him. But if we're going to give him Rika, that means Garuda's also going to be there. So it's going to be like, it's going to cancel out, sort of, but also not cancel. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, there's no real, like, yeah, Yuta could use her speech. He could use, and the thing about Yuta is, like, the element of surprise with his curse techniques is kind of shocking, like, right? Like, if she throws out her speech, maybe if Yuki's caught off guard, he can use that as a diversion and then, you know, get a slice on her. She probably healed that with reverse curse technique. His curse energy reserves are larger, but you know, his skill with using curse energy is quite low, and it's not necessarily because, you know, he's bad at using curse energy. It's just he doesn't necessarily need to think too much about using, you know, curse energy. He can waste as much as he needs to. It's a lot. But the thing is, if Yuki can survive for 5 minutes, and that's the big if. If Yuki can survive those 5 minutes on the back foot, she is winning the entire fight. Because after those 5 minutes, Yuta is basically fucked. There's nothing that's going to stop Yuki from just fighting in this battle of attrition, constantly using mass on him, and then beating him by the end. But at the same time, it could also be the other way around. If Yuki runs out of curse energy first, she probably will lose, and she probably will die, right? So, it completely depends on how it works, but I see Yuki winning 6 out of 10 times in this fight. I see that being the case. Now, is it a good case? Probably not. Is it a best case scenario? I don't really know. I see Yuki winning more times than Yuta, right? Like, Yuta is strong and all, but I don't see him beating someone who could literally just punch so hard she could break your hands multiple times every single time. And again, there's no real feat of attack potency that Yuta's really shown outside of maybe pure love, you know, beam or whatever it's called, and that requires kind of a charge up, and Yuki's not gonna let him charge up. So again, that's how the fight's probably gonna go. 6 to Yuki, 5 to Yuta. I rest my case. Bye bye and good night. So yeah, thank you. I haven't made like one of these videos in a while. This was the last one. I think it was like Miwa's video. I think it was that I made one like this again. But thank you for sticking around. Thank you for listening to me talk and ramble about power scaling. I know power scaling is not really a big deal. It's like it's something that's very iffy. But thank you for listening. And see you for the next video, guys.